Okay, had about a 90-play scrimmage. It was primarily, offense against defense. There was some special teams things that we worked on. We had 3 live punt return situations. Daniel Carlson hit a 57-yard field goal. I thought that was good. It was fairly windy out there today too. Defense, they got the best of the offense today. There was probably more good hits today than any of the scrimmages that we've had since we've been back up to this point. That was definitely a bright spot with a lot of energy. Offensively, rotate a lot of guys. It was about a 50-50 split as far as running and throwing.
Questions?
How was the play split up between the quarterbacks though?
They rotated with each group. We had an orange group and a blue group, and they rotated. Jeremy got a few more with orange, I think, but it was still fairly close.
How they perform?
I think they did okay. I mean, I don't think there was anything that stood out negatively, that really comes to mind right now.
Gus, you saw the kind of physicality you wanted out of the defense today?
We're going in the right direction. There's no doubt. There was some impact hits, the type of hits that gets everybody excited, and that was real encouraging, from my standpoint.
Even though you're more related to the offense, were you actually maybe pleased to see the defense get better?
I was very excited. Very excited with our defense, with their intensity. They were flying around. They were having fun out there, and like I said, there was some impact hits that really, I like to say momentum hits, that the whole sideline gets excited on, and guys were flying around. It was very encouraging.
How the running backs do? How do you split and who stood out?
The 3 scholarship guys got equal reps, and we rotated with both groups and tried to give them as equal carries as we could. I don't know the final numbers, but the plan was all 3 equal.
Did you get any explosive runs that you want to see?
We got a few. We got a few. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of short runs, but there was a few that busted.
How has Trey Matthews done since getting back on the team?
Good. I think he's more comfortable with what we're doing defensively. He's a very physical player. I think Coach Muschamp's been pleased.
Were Carl and Alex Kozan, were those guys able?
They did not scrimmage today. Now they have practiced. They've practiced quite a bit up to this point, but we did hold them out of the scrimmage today.
Were there any other players you had to hold out of the scrimmage today?
I think for the most part, everyone went. Besides those 2, I believe.
Have you been able to get a read on Kozan, just how ready he's going to be?
I mean, he's went full speed against defensive guys. He's moved well, pulling, the different things so far so good, and he said he feels good. So, that's definitely a positive.
You're about halfway through your spring practices. Can you sort of give us a big picture of the look?
Big picture, I like our kids' attitudes overall. I think all of them want to be coached. I think they are trying to, get their teammates to count on them, and the expectations are very high. But overall, I'm happy. I mean, we'll have to learn from this scrimmage. Usually, a scrimmage, you find out more from one scrimmage going 90 plays than you do 2 or 3 practices of thud, tempo, and just kind of mixing and matching. So I think after the evaluation of this scrimmage, I think offensively and defensively, we'll have a really good judge, at least where we're at and what we need to focus on the last, half of practice.
Are you getting the consistency you want out of the receivers, no drops, things of that sort?
We got a lot of guys back that have a lot of quality experience, so we have to, our expectations are extremely high. And Coach Craig is continually challenging those guys to be consistent.
How are they today?
There was some ups and downs. There was a little good and there was a little bad.
With more players back, even though you have quite a few starters gone on offense, but with as much knowledge of the offense, is it a little surprising that defense is ahead, or is that about what you?
Well, I think you're right. We have the same. All the offensive coaches back for the 3rd year, and even though some guys are inexperienced, they've been in our system for a while, and so the expectations are high. But no, I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as a positive that the defense came to play. And in spring, it's a constant competitiveness. One day one wins, one day the next wins, and that's the beauty about it. And
How did Jason Smith do today, where he's obviously looking to do the wide receiver bit?
Yeah.
He brought up live punt returns. Did he take part in that?
Yeah, he took one of those reps, and then also, you know, he played a whole lot at the wide receiver position, and you know, coaches were on the sideline, and you know, we got the ball in his hands a few times, did some good things. It's just going to be a matter of him feeling more and more comfortable at that position and learning the little things that goes with it. But he is very athletic, like we talked about before. He wants to be good, and he wants to be coached. So I think all those are positives.
Yes, how are the reps at center split up today?
I believe they were close to 50-50. I'm not for sure exactly, you know, how many Xavier got late, but you know, that was the plan.
Has that been up to your expectations? No missed snaps?
You know, the snaps have been a lot better. You know, we had some issues last spring. We had a few issues in fall, but the snaps overall have been better. That's been a point of emphasis, working on their own. And so today there was no snaps that really stood out that caused the integrity of the play to be off just because of snap.
Take a few more.
Just to go back to the bowl game for just a moment. Montravius had brought up that he first noticed Will's enthusiasm a lot at halftime. There was some very enthusiastic speech, I guess, and he kind of smacked the dry erase board, and Will said on Thursday that he helped out a little bit. Are you at all concerned that from the outside another program might say he was coaching in that game, even though you said all along that he did not?
I wouldn't worry. He was just being a competitor on our staff, and halftime he encouraged him. I liked it. As far as schematically and all that, you look at us, we did what we did last year. It's going to be a completely different deal.
Yes, you've said multiple times that you feel like you learn more about quarterbacks when you guys see them live. Is there a reason they're maybe not going to do it this spring? You just feel like you've already got enough info?
Yeah, I think so. With those first two guys, you know, we do have a lot of information. You know, Sean White in the bowl practice, you know, went live. Tyler today was live. So, you know, but those first two, we got really good information. We know how they're going to react. Now, they both want to go live, but, you know, we're going to be smart, and that's a good thing. Now, most quarterbacks do, you know, and that way they can play the game. But we were smart with them today, and, you know, Tyler Queen went live, and he liked it, and he did some good things, too.
You guys talk about Duke and just how he's progressed, not as leadership-wise, playing-wise.
Yeah, he's really developing into a leader on the offensive side. He understands, you know, our offense. He understands the coach's expectation. You know, he really brings his A game, and he's a competitor.
Okay, last one right here.
Yes, you got a lot of young guys or even smaller guys, JC transfer to play in the defensive front. He didn't play last year. And just how's that group coming along?
You know, they've been very coachable. You know, they get better each practice. They're getting a lot of reps, which is good, and I think all those guys can really help us.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
All right, thanks.